Hello and welcome to KLM Institute.
Today's top story comes from one of the world's most secretive countries, North Korea. In a surprising move, North Korea has just opened a massive tourist zone on its east coast, called the Wonsan coastal tourist area. This major project, led by leader Kim Jong-un, is part of his long-term plan to attract more visitors and boost the country's struggling economy. State media reported that Kim Jong-un personally attended the grand opening ceremony on June 26, expressing what they described as great satisfaction. The area is now ready to welcome up to 20,000 visitors at once, starting with domestic tourists from July 1. Although there's no confirmation yet about when international tourists will be allowed, this marks a major step for a country that has remained largely closed off from the world for decades. But why is this such a big deal? North Korea has historically kept its doors shut to the outside world. This isolation wasn't just about security, it was also a key part of how the government controls information. Tourists, especially foreigners, were seen as a threat because they could expose North Koreans to different worldviews and challenge the strict control of the ruling regime. For decades, only tightly supervised, government-approved tours were allowed, and visitors were heavily monitored. North Korea presents itself as a democratic country, with elections and a government structure. But in reality, it operates as a dictatorship. Power is concentrated entirely in the hands of Kim Jong-un, who inherited leadership from his father and grandfather, both previous rulers. There are no free elections, no freedom of speech, and the government controls the media, education, and even access to the internet. This kind of system is the opposite of what a democracy stands for. So why the sudden push for tourism? North Korea is in urgent need of money. Sanctions from the United Nations, put in place because of the country's nuclear weapons and missile programs, have cut off many of its sources of income. Tourism remains one of the few areas not fully covered by these sanctions. That's why building a billion-dollar tourist destination like Wonsan is seen as a key way for North Korea to attract revenue from visitors. Economically, the country is under pressure. Years of sanctions, the COVID-19 pandemic, and isolation from global trade have weakened its economy. It faces shortages of food, medicine, and essential goods. Although North Korea has begun allowing limited tourism again, such as groups from Russia and international runners for a marathon in April, most of the country remains closed to regular foreign tourists. Opening up tourist areas like Wonsan could help change North Korea's image. It gives the country a softer, more welcoming face to the world. If more tourists are allowed in safely, it might help reduce tensions, build cultural understanding, and even encourage more peaceful dialogue with other nations. At the Wonsan opening, the Russian ambassador and other diplomats were treated as special guests. Russia and North Korea have recently grown closer, with North Korea reportedly supplying weapons and troops for Russia's war in Ukraine. The two countries have now agreed to expand tourism cooperation and have even restarted a direct passenger train between Pyongyang and Moscow. Kim Jong-un hopes that the Wonsan coastal tourist area will be known as a world-level tourist cultural resort. Whether this becomes reality depends on how much the country opens up to international visitors, and whether the world is ready to respond. This story will be one to watch closely. North Korea's future may be changing, one tourist zone at a time. Thanks for staying informed with KLM Institute. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more clear and reliable news.